This video is about the tallest tower drop design challenge and just to explain to you how a design challenge can be run in your class. So, introducing the design challenge, I always have a Google presentation for you to share with your students that will look similar to this. So, to start with students, I would share with them the design challenge is that the toy company is looking for them to create a toy that can be dropped from 5 feet, yet still stand tall. So, questioning them and asking them, how can you design a tower that will land the tallest? And show them that this is the design process that we will be following. So, I'm going to give them time to ask questions, for them to imagine on their own, to plan as a group, to create and improve. And we notice that engineers constantly are moving through this cycle because they do not get it right the first time. So, as mentioned, or as you'll see, we really want to support failure in this because that's what's going to happen. They're going to fail and they're going to have to work to get through that. Then, sharing the materials that they have. In this case, the materials are specific, but sometimes design challenges are more open ended with materials. So, these are the materials that students would be allowed to have. A lot of times, I like to have these out so they can see them, but not touch them at this point. But if you have young learners who aren't familiar with foil or different materials, you might want to have them touch and feel it before you give them time to think because that will help them process. In this case, we want all students to participate and we want all materials used. They can only use those. So that's a constraint for this one. Ask is asking, having kids ask questions at this time. What do they want to know about this challenge? What do they need to know? They might want to know more about a material or the way it must land, but this is a really important time for students to ask. Next, this is Imagine. And what we want to do is provide time for students to just think on their own. And this is really important for our students because as soon as they're in a group, our quietest kids often their voices get lost, yet they might have a wonderful idea. So if we can all come together as a group prepared with ideas to share, this is important. You might have kids tell you at this point they don't have an idea, and that's okay. But just draw something, even if they think it won't work, get something out. Labeling is really important of materials because it makes it easier for those in their group to understand what they're looking at. After you give them time, we come together as a group now and plan. So you'll put them into their small groups of 3 work best. And this actually is the trickiest part for students. So as a group, we want them to share their individual designs, but then after they've all shared, they need to come up with what they want to build together. And they all own their own idea and want that to happen and believe it will work. So now it's, well, how can we take one of those ideas and build upon it? So we don't want them to just take one kid's idea and say, this is what we're doing, because then often what happens on the back end is when it fails, students want to just blame that one child. So they need to all take ownership in this step. And how can you improve it? So I like this. I think this will work, but I would like to change this. So they can use those sentence starters there to really help guide that discussion of how can they now create a team design and plan. From here, this is the design that they will actually then create. So now that they've worked together as a team, they must then create and build that design that they just had. And while they're doing it, they're going to constantly be moving through the next 2 steps, which really is just them testing it. But as they're testing it, they're going to be improving it. So going back to our other slide where we had the actual engineering design process, they will bounce between this improve and create frequently, and we want them to. They also will be asking questions, or somebody might come up with a new idea and share it with their group to plan. So, this kind of engineering design process is engaged upon multiple times when they are designing. Again, we encourage failure. It does happen, and that is an okay thing. So be prepared for students, and that might be part of your conversation of just this is tough, and how can we work through this? Design challenges are available for you in this Canvas course, and I hope you